When we have a fight, many times it's not because the other person actually did something. It's more that there's a feeling inside of you that just needs to get out. There's this feeling of just discomfort. I call it distortion, like something's wrong and you're taking action because of a feeling inside of you, not necessarily because of something the other person did. And we tend to then, after we feel that feeling, come up with justifications as to why we feel that way. Because, well, they said this, they didn't say hi, they didn't take down the lid for the toilet, or whatever reason we come up with. There's always, there's always a good reason as to why you should become angry and upset with the other person. But we tend to just make that after the feeling. And we focus on what's on the outside, not on the feeling. I think those geese want to be in the video because they're just singing for us. It's so easy to stop actually looking at the world around us, but instead we just feel stuff inside of us that's uncomfortable or comfortable, and then because of that we relate to the world depending on how that feels. So you might walk into a place and it's not as tidy as you think it should be. It doesn't have the kind of paintings you think there should be. It's not quiet enough. So obviously you're going to be in a bad mood because you're there to do something and they're not living up to your standards or levels of expectation. And then so we get angry. We get upset with them. We tell them what we think about them. Maybe someone has a political opinion that's different from you. And the way that you feel then makes it so that just because you know they're from that party, you're going to start a fight even before you know them, just from knowing that they're part of that, because that gives you a feeling inside that you then follow. And if you start looking at this, I think it's especially noticeable in the mornings when we wake up, because we wake up and sometimes you wake up in a bad mood. And I have this all the time. And I used to believe that that meant that something's wrong. That because I woke up in a bad mood, then I need to act upon that bad mood. I need to do something that reflects how I feel inside. Instead of just realizing that, hey, I woke up with an uncomfortable feeling inside of me. And when I was meditating, I lived as a Buddhist monk for 6 years, and I meditated most hours of the day. And it became very clear that, hey, I have little control over what's happening inside of me. Sometimes I'd wake up and I was in a shitty mood. Had no idea why. And then all of a sudden I'd be sitting and it got worse. And then I said some more and, well, it got better. And it just kept on changing. And there's no real explanation as to why, it just changes. And so I stopped caring so much about my internal distortion, as I call it, the level of stress or discomfort that you felt inside. And instead I started focusing on, okay, what's actually happening around me, and focusing on my senses of the world around me and looking. Because right now I'm a little bit hungry and I feel my stomach grumbling a little bit. So I'm walking around here and I could be like, oh, I'm tired, and someone did something wrong. And there should be like, I'm walking around my work and like some people moved some stuff they shouldn't have moved, and they dropped some garbage somewhere they shouldn't have. And I could be really angry about that. But instead, if you just focus on the sensory input and just look around you, and I'm not talking about, oh, well, actually, it isn't so bad. Just look at the flowers and just like see that this world is nice. I'm healthy, somewhat healthy at least. No, I mean really like experiencing your senses of the world around you, and like what does it feel like to walk around and just look at what the world looks like and feel what the world feels like. That takes you away from your life story and puts you into your experience of life. And I think one of the issues when we meditate or consider ourselves spiritual people is that we seek for peak experiences. We don't realize that it's all about what's happening right now, like this thing right here. And this experience is incredible. It's just like, it's so enjoyable if you don't fight it, if you don't want it to be different, if you don't believe that it should conform to your wishes, and you realize that it's okay the way it is. And then when you feel okay with the world being the way it is, then you can change it however you believe is the best way to change it. But one of the issues is this seeking for peak experiences and blissful states and things that feel outworldly, or communion with spirits, or something other than you, like, because obviously you're not enough, but you feel like I need to become something else. So I made a video about that last week, which really goes into depth about how many people trick themselves into believing that they should meditate to get out of this place and go somewhere else, instead of realizing that it's all about just getting and landing here. That's all there is to it.